Very dark in here. Very dark. Yeah. Oh. Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel, United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Hope you're all having a fantastic Friday afternoon. Hope you had a good week. And I hope you're all looking forward to another brand new weekend in November 2023 this year. First of all, do me a massive favour for me, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button, and remember to put a notification bell on at all times to receive dedicated content right throughout the rest of 2023 on United Red Devils 20 on YouTube for more Fortnite, Rocket League, more EA Sports FC 24 content, more previews, more match reactions, and much more brand new stuff planned for the last few weeks and in these last 2 months in 2023 on United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. So please subscribe to the channel and the community if you're new. And good afternoon to all you legends and all you legendary people. And welcome to your Premier League preview for this weekend's match day 12 of the Premier League season between Manchester United and newly promoted Luton Town at Old Trafford on Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. home afternoon kickoff at Old Trafford, where more protests are planned against the Glazer ownership in a game which simply this game is going to be make or break now. I think if we do not beat Luton Town and we do not win this game, I honestly and seriously am starting to believe that Manchester United may consider getting rid of Erik ten Hag after Marcus Rashford costing us on Wednesday night against FC Copenhagen in the Champions League group stage on match day 4. This Premier League weekend has become even more important for Manchester United to get back to winning ways in the league and also to get a win after the Wednesday night's defeat away in Denmark. And I think Man United are going to have to win this game. I think for me, I look at Luton Town and I look at the football club they've become. I look at a great job that Rob Edwards has done since he took over as Luton Town manager. And I look how well they've done in this Premier League. I look at Luton, I look at the fixtures they've had, I look at the results they've achieved, and I look at how well they've actually done in this Premier League season. Everyone doubted that Luton Town were going to cope in the Premier League. Everyone doubted that Luton Town were going to stay up in this Premier League in season 1. And I think a lot of people doubted that Luton Town would be able to be a Premier League club long term. And I think for me, I look at the job Rob Edwards has done, and it's been nothing more than magnificent. And I think the results, some of them have been very, very unlucky. Like when you've got Tottenham at home and they're down, and Tottenham are down to 10 men, Luton really should have won that game. And all you've got to do is look at last weekend's result. I think everyone expected a fully comprehensive Liverpool away win at Kenilworth Road against Luton Town last weekend's fixtures. And I think everyone was shocked and surprised by the outcome of that result when it finished 1-1, especially where Luton Town took the lead through an ex-United player into Heath Chong getting his first goal for Luton Town. I think everyone was very surprised by that result. I think everyone was very surprised that Liverpool did not come away with all 3 points in the win that weekend. And I think for me, in my view and in my opinion, I think everybody is expecting Manchester United to, absolutely rip Luton apart, and it's going to be a very comprehensive and fantastic result on Saturday afternoon. But I think that point they've achieved against Liverpool has given Luton Town now even more confidence that they're going to stay up. That result was a very, very unlikely result when you're heading into a Sunday evening fixture. And I even think for me, when Luton Town took the lead against Liverpool, I was very, very surprised. I didn't expect Liverpool to be conceding goals against Luton. And for me, in my view and in my opinion, I expected Liverpool to win 6-7, even 8-0. I did not expect Luton to come away with any point. I didn't even expect them to even take the lead against Liverpool. I was very, very surprised. And when you've got an ex-United reject into Heath Chong giving Luton the lead, it was a shame they couldn't hold on, because it would have probably been one of the most shocked results of all season in this Premier League campaign so far. So I think Luton Town's confidence is going to be there after that result. And I think Luton are going to come to Old Trafford knowing they've got nothing to fear. And really, at the moment, the confidence is going to be there. And I think they're going to come to Old Trafford feeling they can get something from this game. I think they're going to look at the last few results United have achieved and United have got. And I don't think they're going to come to Old Trafford with any fear factor. I don't think they're going to come to Old Trafford worrying how many they're going to concede. And for me, in my view, Like, I think Luton could come away with something from this game. Like, if they came away with a point or even an unlikely win, it would be a massive, massive L for Manchester United fans and supporters, as well as Erik ten Hag, who, for me now, is desperately trying to hang on to his job. Like, after Wednesday night, there is even more critics and even more doubters saying that Erik ten Hag is not the right fit and not the right manager for this football club and for Man United to move forward. And for me, I completely disagree. I think Erik ten Hag is doing what he can with the squad he's got and the players he's got available to him. And I think for me, in my view, when, you've had a bad summer transfer window and, you are playing European football, being knocked out the Carabao Cup and trying to move up the Premier League table, Erik ten Hag is basically up against a brick wall at the moment. He's got two hands tied behind his back. And I think for me, Erik ten Hag is doing the best of what he's got. And I think for me, Wednesday night was a shock, especially the way we played in the first 28 minutes. And I think for me, United are going to have to try and do that same outcome to Luton on Saturday afternoon. I think if we can play what we did in the first 28 minutes against FC Copenhagen, I can see this being a very, comprehensive and very, very, very big result for Man United. And I think there will be goals to be had, but it depends if, like, Luton, park the bus and, play a defensive backfired and literally park their defence and park their midfield to prevent Man United from scoring any goals. But I think Luton Town are having a great Premier League season. Like, I don't think they're going to get relegated. I've always stated that I think Luton Town will stay up in the Premier League. They ain't going anywhere. They're not going to get relegated and they're going to comfortably stay up. I mean, they're not even in the bottom three now. And I did say at the start of the season, Luton Town will be a Premier League club again next season. And I'm fully confident to say, as I'm not a Luton fan, I'm quite confident that, Luton Town fans will be Premier League fans again next season, because I think they've got the squad, I think they've got the players, and I think they're starting to gain experience. I mean, they've even achieved a point against Liverpool and a win against Everton away at Goodison Park. And I think even both those results, you're expecting Luton to concede a hefty load of goals, and they've surprised with two massive, massive results. I mean, a point against Liverpool is going to do that Luton squad a hell of a lot of confidence. And they're going to believe that they can come to Old Trafford and get something. And if they do come and get something, it's going to be embarrassing because everyone is expecting Manchester United to win this game. But the way we're playing at the moment and the way Man United are operating on and off the pitch, is anyone feeling any kind of confidence that Man United are going to be able to beat Luton? Like, on paper, this should be a comfortable 3 points. This should be a comfortable win. But the way Man United are defending and the amount of injuries we have got and the bad football we are playing after having, Rashford being sent off in midweek and players having to play a whole 45 minutes in the second half with only 10 players, that United squad for me is going to be knackered. I honestly think playing, with 10 players only against an FC Copenhagen with a full 11 players on the second half turf, then I think for me, those players are going to be feeling it Saturday. And I think there will be fatigue, there will be tiredness, and I think that United squad is going to suffer. Like, after Rashford got sent off, it massively cost us on Wednesday. And, we're sat in the situation that we are in today. We should have won on Wednesday night. It was a bad, bad result for this football club. And for me, like I said, our Champions League journey for me is officially over. I can't see Manchester United turning this around. And I think for me now, we have got to focus on climbing up that Premier League table. And I think, let's get back to winning ways. Let's beat Luton Town and let's have a good weekend. And I think it will be a good weekend. I think it will be a Man United win. Luton do concede a heck load of goals. But I think for me, like I said, achieving a point against Liverpool is nothing to be ashamed of. Luton Town should be very, very proud of what they're doing in this Premier League. Like, I look at everybody that criticises them, slams them, every day of the week, every single fixture they play, they're saying Luton Town should not be a Premier League club. Luton Town should not be playing against these bigger teams. Well, I'm sorry. They did deserve to come up. Luton Town are a very, very established Premier League club for me now. And I think for me, Rob Edwards has done a great job. And I think with the players he's got, he is working a lot of miracles. And I think, everyone is still going to say, well, they're going to get relegated. They're not going to stay up. They're going to cause a lot of problems for themselves. I completely disagree. And I think, Luton Town's confidence is going to be there. They're going to look at the vulnerability from that Man United back four. They're going to look at the vulnerability from the Man United defensive shambles on Wednesday. And they're going to look at the quality of the attack in Rasmus Højlund. And I think they're also going to look at the imbalance of the midfield as well, where Man United just don't seem to be very, very balanced in the starting lineup at the moment. And I think, United have got to try and pick themselves up. United know this is a winnable game. And I think the players know that they have to win this game, because anything more than a win is not good enough, because they know if they don't beat Luton, it is going to be hectic on Saturday evening. Honestly, if we do not beat Luton, I think the criticism then, it'll be more than ever before than what we've seen all season. It could be at Ten Hag's last game in charge. I really, really could think that failure to beat Luton, this could cost Eric Ten Hag his job now. I don't think Eric Ten Hag's job's in danger, by the way. And I think, with the players he's got and the quality that we did show against FC Copenhagen, I do fully expect Man United to respond. I think they know Luton do concede a lot of goals. They know, I think United on paper know they've got the better players. And I think for me, in my view, United are expected to win. But I think the players at the moment, it just doesn't look like a team that's got any confidence, even down to 10 men. We basically should have won that game. I mean, when you go 3-2 up in like the 78th minute for a Bruno Fernandes penalty, and you're thinking United are going to hold on for a win, and then you concede 2 really, really bad goals defensively to lose that game 4-3. It's no wonder United are now basically trying to get everyone back on side. And I think they are going to try and brainwash the fans this weekend and the supporters. And I think, everyone is going to turn up expecting United to absolutely rip this Luton team apart. And I think if we were to go a goal down, it is backs against the wall. And we are going to have to find a quick equaliser and then try and score another 2 or 3 goals to get this game won. But I think, at the moment, I've lost the trust of this squad. I've lost the trust of these players, and I'm not happy with the football we're playing. I think we've got a lot worse. And I think for me, I only look at the records and I look at the complete stats and the facts of this season. This is our worst league start since 1974. We've lost our first 9 games out of 17 matches we've played. Like, it is majorly, majorly embarrassing. Like, it's not acceptable. It's not good enough. And I think for me, Manchester United should be doing a lot better. And I think, United know they've got to be a lot better than that. There needs to be some fight. There needs to be charisma, and there needs to be some kind of bloody leadership on that pitch, because at that moment, this team just doesn't look like a Man United team that has got any kind of quality. There seems to be a lack of leadership. And I think for me, these players are suffering with a mentality issue. I think the morale for me is completely on the floor again after Wednesday. And Ten Hag is going to have to try and get his troops up for this game. And I think Ten Hag is going to probably read the right that. I don't think Ten Hag is going to have any messing about this weekend. He knows that if they don't win this game, this situation Man United have got themselves in, it is going to be a hell of a lot worse. And we do not want to be heading into an international break where you've only won 1 out of your last 3 games, because the morale coming back after another pointless international break for the next 2 weeks is, if United players and morale and confidence are on the floor, how are you expecting them to come back straight out of international break to try and pick them up for the next game again? Like, United have got no excuses if they don't beat Luton. They have got no excuses at all if they don't win this game. They can't keep using fatigue. They can't keep using injuries, and they can't keep using we're tired all the time. These players are expected to perform. These players are expected to do their job, and these players need to listen to what the manager is trying to get the best out of them. And I think Ten Hag is really struggling to get his team on side. I don't know why these players seem to give up a lot. I don't know why these players seem to wave the white flag. And I've never seen a team like this in all my life that throws in the towel as much as these players do. Like, at the moment, I think these players are only in it for themselves. I think these players, clearly are showing that they don't give a shit about the fans or the supporters, and they're only in it for the money. Like, these players are playing for Man United. Every time you put a United shirt on, you should feel bloody lucky and feel very privileged that you're even playing for this football club. Like, you could be playing in a lower league in a worse team than us. And I think, at the moment, these players, every time they pull a United shirt on, the pressure is always on. Of course it is. It is the most historic and most successful English football club of all time ever. And when it starts going bad, that shirt becomes even more of a pressure weight. And then that pressure is then even on these players' shoulders even more. And I think, you look at the impact that, those players had on Wednesday. I saw only, for me, in my view, one or two really decent performances from like one or two players, but the rest of it was just the defensive shambles was, very predictable. The midfield balance is, like I said, very unpredictable. And I think the lack of attacking options on the left and the right wing is starving our main striker, who is basically our best hope of having a great season in Rasmus Højlund. That, you look at his comments after the match Saturday on Wednesday, and like you said, the red card changed everything. And especially when he has scored 2 goals, where he could have had a hat trick or even 4 or 5 goals to his name. There's a player there that actually gets it, and there's a player that is got the leadership and the anticipation to make this club a lot better than what it is. And I think, Rasmus Højlund, the pressure on him now is even more immense, because he looks at that players around him, he looks at the squad he's got at his disposal, and he even looks at like the lack of quality on the left and the right wing, and he realises that, I think for me, he is being starved of service still. I think for me, Garnacho didn't cover his game in any glory Wednesday. And I think for me also on Wednesday night as well, that playing Marcus Rashford on the right wing when he's not a right winger, like, it clearly shows that these players are mainly ignoring Højlund's quality. I think they're ignoring the goals he could score. And I think for me, in my view, I think Rasmus Højlund, I feel sorry for the lad. Like, he's only 20 years of age, and he's basically our best hope for turning this season around, because you look at the goals he's scoring in the Champions League, and then you look at the lack of goals in the Premier League. It is a bloody concern. It is a worry, and I'm hoping he will find the back of the net the weekend. And, we all know Rasmus is going to start Saturday. I think we could all put that on paper now, that Rasmus, yet again, will be starting down the middle for Man United yet again, because I think you look at the options off the bench, there's nothing really you can do to change that lineup, because when you've got no Lisandro Martinez and also now Johnny Evans being out injured, you look at that quality of that team at the moment, and that team is crying out for some quality to be able to deliver the goals that this Man United team is desperately looking for. I think if Rasmus Højlund doesn't find the back of the net against Luton on Saturday, it's a big worry. It's a very, very big concern, because we are trying to climb up that league table. And I think at the moment, if he doesn't score on Saturday, it's a worry, because do you think he's going to be able to keep carrying this team in every league fixture where he is not finding any goals? I think that's a very, very big talking point from this United team. And I think this is why we are struggling to score goals, because if he is being starved by Anthony and Rashford and Garnacho and even Pellistri to an extent, if any of them aren't providing the service that Rasmus is looking for, no wonder he isn't finding the back of the net. And I think he has got to start putting the ball in the net in the Premier. He's got to start doing it, because I don't think you can trust Rasmus to be able to score the goals in the league that I think Ten Hag and this team is looking for. I worry about that, because if we're not scoring enough goals, how are we expected to put the opposition away? And I think it's a very, very big talking point that United clearly need another striker. I think United are going to have to go into January, and they're going to have to get an experienced striker in to provide backup to Rasmus Højlund, because Rasmus is not going to be able to keep doing what he's doing every week. Like, we've already seen it enough times this season, 17 games in, and all his goals have come in the Champions League. And that does say quite a lot, that in the league, I don't think he's adapted very well. And I think that's a concern, because I think, I think his game is starting to get figured out. I think the style of play he's bringing to that United team, the opposition's figuring it out. And I think if he starts on Saturday and he doesn't score, questions have got to be asked. Is this the right striker to go with long term that isn't going to find the back of the net? And I think there are strikers available in January, like Ivan Toney, Lautaro Martinez, Victor Osimhen. I think United are going to have to bring a big name in to help Rasmus find the net, because if Rasmus goes till December without a Premier League goal, then you're going to be stuck in January and you're going to have to do something big. And like United have already stated that they're not going to overspend. Financial fair play and sell to buy is still a big factor in all this happening. It's not. It's the biggest load of bullshit ever Ten Hag is desperately looking for a striker, and United are going to have to deliver it. If they are going to have to pay 150 million for Victor Osimhen, they're going to have to do it. Like, you can't expect Rasmus Højlund to be our main striker for the rest of the season when he's not finding the back of the net in the Premier League. And I think for me, if that doesn't get solved, and it doesn't get solved very quickly, we are going to look at this Premier League season, and we all know already that mainly top four's probably already gone. And we think, even maybe being back at the Champions League next season isn't going to happen either. Then the pressure is going to be even more on his shoulders. So I think for me, the front three, it will contain Rasmus Højlund, but it's what we do with our left and right wing that is going to create the chances that Højlund does need on goal. Like, I think for me, after what Rashford did on Wednesday night was nothing more than a joke. Getting himself sent off, which was a very, very predictable red card. And like I keep saying it and doubting it, like, it was a clearing of his red card. There's no doubt in that decision the referee had to make. It was a clear bad tackle from Rashford, and the way he went in on the FC Copenhagen player, that could have caused a serious injury or even a season-ending career injury. That could have really damaged that FC Copenhagen's ankle. I mean, the way Rashford went in on it, that could have caused an ending career injury. Like, Rashford has got a lot of shit on him at the moment, and I think he knows that, the fans and supporters are not happy with him. I'm not very happy with him. And I think for me at the moment, would I say Marcus Rashford deserves to be in the team for Saturday? After what I saw on Wednesday, I wouldn't be playing Marcus Rashford ever again. I think Man United are a lot better without Rashford in this team. I don't think he offers a lot. 1 goal in 17 games simply isn't acceptable. And his form from last season has absolutely it's came off a cliff. Like, his form at the moment is shocking. And I think for me at the weekend, it could be a perfect opportunity for Rashford to find the net. But at the moment, the way Rashford's playing, would you be starting him against a very, very vulnerable Luton defensive back four? Like, would you put Rashford on the wing to cause Luton the problems I think, Luton will face? But at the moment, I think the way Marcus Rashford's, the lack of attitude, the lack of commitment, and the lack of desire towards being a Man United player, I wouldn't be putting him in his first team squad. For me, I would be nothing more than putting him on the bench. And I think he does deserve it. He cost us on Wednesday night. And I've seen Marcus Rashford's career go even more backwards this season than what it was last. Like, last season, he was our best player. He was our top goal scorer. And all of this, and this season, his form has fallen off a cliff, and it's not good enough. Like, you should be setting your heavy heights to carry on from where you left off last season. And I think I saw it on Wednesday night. Like, we still reacted very well from that red card. We were still trying to go for it. And that is because Man United are a better team without Rashford in it. Marcus Rashford is not the long-term answer. I'm really sorry. If someone came in with a 200 to 250 million offer, I'd be taking it on a heartbeat. I would be selling Rashford. I'm sorry. He's not bloody good enough. I wouldn't start him Saturday because I think after what he did, that is a disgusting tackle. Like, you could have ended someone's career there. Like, you should have learnt from not keeping your feet on the ground and not putting in a dangerous tackle that potentially is going to cost you a red card. But I think, Ten Hag is still going to support Rashford and he's still going to back him. But at the moment, I wouldn't be putting him in the team after what he did Wednesday. We lost that game single-handedly down to Marcus Rashford getting sent off. So for me, I wouldn't be starting him. I think the front three, like, if Garnacho can find some kind of form on Saturday, it would be a great bonus. But at the moment, even Garnacho, I look at that player and I think, there's so much hype around him being the next Cristiano Ronaldo, and it's massively naive thinking. I don't think Garnacho's even got that level in him. I don't think, for me, after Wednesday, Garnacho didn't offer anything going forward. He had one decent shot on goal that the goalkeeper spared, and it found Rasmus Højlund putting the ball into an empty net. So that was the only thing that I think Garnacho really did on Wednesday. I think, for me, that was the only problem he caused Copenhagen all game, was the one shot he had on the Copenhagen goal, and that was really about it. But apart from that, what did Garnacho really offer? It's another very, very big problem I think Ten Hag's got to solve. That I don't think the left wing's very good. Like, would you even consider bringing Sancho back in? Well, it looks like he's going to be gone in January and he's going to be sold. So it looks like Sancho's future at United's basically over. So there's no way he's going to be in this team Saturday unless he was to apologise dramatically. But I don't think that's going to happen. So I think Ten Hag's basically stuck because I think he realises that, with Garnacho out of form, Rashford out of form, he doesn't really have any other players to call upon. Like Pellistri, I mean, everyone hyped him up after the Fulham game and he basically did fuck all. So I think for me, Pellistri isn't anywhere near good enough to be starting games for United. And I think also, would you consider bringing Ahmad back in and putting him on the left? I mean, that could work to an extent, but mainly Ahmad is better off the right. Or do you bring Anthony back in? Because obviously he was dropped on Wednesday night and didn't even come on. And that did say quite a lot. That was a big, big statement. So I think Ten Hag's got a real big problem in this front three. I think if he could, I think he would play Rasmus and another world-class striker in the same team due to the lack of form these players up front are showing. But maybe Ten Hag goes back to the front three what it was on Wednesday. Maybe he does put in Garnacho, Rashford and Rasmus from the start. Maybe we will see the same team from Wednesday. I'm not 100% sure what he's going to do with that team, but it's going to be very, very interesting what happens and what the team selection will be Saturday. And I think if Ten Hag has got any credentials, I would be dropping Garnacho and Rashford. I'm sorry, at the moment, I've lost trust for all of them. I would be playing Rasmus. I would be bringing Ahmad in on the right. And maybe potentially put Mason Mount on the left. I mean, I know Mount ain't a winger, and I always state that playing players out of the position, it won't work. But maybe Ten Hag is going to have to make some very, very big, surprising and tough calls at the weekend. And I think it's got to be done because the way we're playing at the moment, some of these players do not even deserve to be starting a game for United or even anywhere near the bench. So it's going to be a big, big call from Ten Hag what he does go with Saturday. So that's the front three discussed. I think the midfield, again, Wednesday, when we ended up having to move Bruno Fernandes out on the right wing after Rashford got sent off, that midfield was absolutely at sixes and sevens. I couldn't believe how bad that midfield was. It was, quite frankly, one of the worst second half midfield performances I've ever seen from a bunch of United players. The whole midfield went absolutely tits up on Wednesday. It was horrific. Moving Fernandes out onto the right wing was a big, big mistake. And for me, yet again, it didn't work. And I think for me, when you move Fernandes out that midfield three and you're basically relying on Eriksen and McTominay to run that midfield while Fernandes is on the right wing trying to do Rashford's job, the midfield went to pants. It went downhill. And that was because you have lost your leader, you've lost your captain, and the player you're looking from inspiration for to make chances and goals happen has been shifted to the right due to Marcus Rashford. And I think for me, it's not fair on Bruno. He's one of the best midfielders I think this club's ever had in its history. And I think for me, without Bruno in this team, United are a lot worse off. They are in a lot worse shape if Bruno is not in that midfield three. And it showed Wednesday where he was moved out of it to put in Rashford's position for Rashford getting sent off. So I think Bruno is going to have to be slotted back into the midfield three. Obviously, like I said, we are without Casemiro till February due to a really severe bad hamstring injury. So we ain't got no Casemiro available for Saturday, which is, again, a very, very big blow. And we could have really done with having Casemiro available. But I think we've got the options to be able to cover it. But at the moment, it just doesn't look like there's any clear idea what that midfield, the preferred midfield three is. And I think at the moment, I think Ten Hag realises the mistakes he's made on midfield signings. I think he realises now that bringing in Amrabat and Mount, I think he expected Mount and Amrabat to click straight away. And unfortunately, yet again, it's not happened. And I both back these players to be long-term players for this football club. But at the moment, Mount's back on the bench, Amrabat's back on the bench, And the problem we had under Ralph Ragnick and Solskjaer was the amount of game time Scott McTominay was getting. Like, he did one piece of good work on Wednesday night to get Rasmus's first goal and to put into an empty net, which was basically a sweat goal, an very easy tap in at the back post. But apart from that, Mason Mount and Amrabat have fallen down the pecking order due to Scott McTominay. I don't know why that is. Maybe Ten Hag realises that Mason Mount has not worked as a signing, and giving him the number 7 shirt has massively backfired. And he realises that 60 million could have been spent on 2 midfielders for the price of 1. So I think maybe Mount has been dropped because of the form he's not showing. And I think, again, Wednesday, when he was brought on in the second half, we put him in the false 9 position, and that didn't fucking work. So, again, these players just don't seem to be understanding the tactics or the organisation or the roles they're having to do in this United team. And I think Mason Mount has been a disaster of a signing. I'm not going to beat around the bush about it. It has been an absolute disaster of a signing. Like, it's probably been one of the worst signings up there that we've made in this club's history. Mason Mount hasn't worked. I do feel sorry for him, but at the moment, I looked at what he did and didn't do for Chelsea, and I can easily say I told you so. This was a bad signing. And unfortunately, you look at it now, it has been a massive mistake. And Mason Mount is now back on the bench, where I think at the moment where he belongs. And I think for me, I think Mount is a better player than McTominay. But at the moment, with McTominay providing assists and providing goals to United, I can't see Scott McTominay being dropped to the bench Saturday. And I think yet again, he will probably start. And that'll be frustrating for me because I don't rate Scott McTominay. I am never going to rate Scott McTominay. And I think there are better midfielders out there than Scott McTominay. So I think at the moment, the form between Mount and McTominay is night and day. McTominay, in my view, does deserve to be starting games based on his form. But at the moment, I look at it, I think Mason Mount is the better player. But look what's happened to Mount. It's been a complete car crash. And I think the same goes with Sofyan Amrabat. Like, I think everyone expected him to be slotting into this United midfield when the absence of Casemiro happened due to that injury he picked up against Newcastle doing his hamstring. And yet again, where's Sofyan Amrabat? Like, he's not even in the team. Like, he's on the bench again. Like, I think Amrabat is better than McTominay. I think he's better than Mason Mount, but I thought he was meant to come in straight into this team. That is what I thought the big plan was. And at the moment, when you're seeing one of your favourite players on the bench, it really does think to yourself, what was the point signing him? Why did United pay the money they got him on loan for? And is that signing not worked? I mean, does that have to be questioned as well? Has that signing not worked either for Manchester United? And I think the big indication is, yeah, maybe Ten Hag did not want Amrabat. Maybe Ten Hag expected Amrabat to adapt straight away, especially when he's played in the Premier League before. I think we all expected Amrabat to hit the ground running, and I think at the moment, McTominay's playing over Amrabat as well. So it's a very, very difficult situation Ten Hag's got, because we've got midfield options. We've got Fernandes, Eriksen, Mount, Amrabat and McTominay. But soon as Casemiro comes back, and we're not going to see him until January, February at least, back from his hamstring injury, I think Casemiro would be playing in that team. I think we wouldn't see McTominay. And it is unfortunate we've lost Casemiro to injury, and it's probably going to be the last season we see of him. I mean, if he's only beat United for 2 seasons, I mean, you have to start questioning again, what was the point signing him? All that money has gone down the drain again. And I think it's another very, very big talking point. If Casemiro is available, would he be playing Saturday? I think 110% yes, he would be playing. And it would be Fernandes and maybe Eriksen. I wouldn't have broken that trio up. I think bringing Mount and Amrabat in, maybe it was a mistake. I'm not sure, but I think if Casemiro is available, I think we should be going back to midfield three we had last season of Fernandes, Casemiro, and Eriksen, because it all worked. And unfortunately, it's not really worked by not having all those same three in the midfield three that I think this United team needs. So it's unfortunate we've lost Casemiro, but Maybe it is McTominay, Ericsson, and Fernandes, and that is maybe what Ten Hag goes with Saturday. So that's a big talking point for the midfield. I think the back four, again, we'll move on to that now for Saturday. I think the back four, like if you're looking at the back four, you've now lost Johnny Evans. And I think when Evans went off injured Wednesday, like, I know I'm going to hold my hands up, and I do. We looked very strong Wednesday defensively in the first 28 minutes. We were keeping Copenhagen out. They didn't have a chance on goal. And defensively, we were very, very strong. And soon as Johnny Evans went off, and it did surprise me how defensively strong we did look in that first half, in those first 30-odd minutes, because we weren't getting a chance on our goal. We were defending the ball, and we were fighting back every time we lost the ball or tried to gain possession. We were fighting for it, and defensively, we were very, very solid. But as soon as Johnny Evans went off, like, I honestly thought it went downhill. And that does take a lot coming from me to say that, because I don't rate Johnny Evans. We shouldn't have gone for a 35-year-old left centre-back that was relegated with Leicester to the Championship last season. So I think, Johnny Evans has been a bit of a mistake signing on a free, but United love a free transfer, so I'm not surprised we went for him, because Ten Hag didn't get the centre-back he wanted. And I think as soon as he went off Wednesday, and I was surprised how strong he was with Maguire, because I don't rate either of them, but I thought as soon as Evans went off, the defensive back four, it went to shit. Like, honestly, it was so poor defensively, the goals we conceded after that. And, when we brought Varane on, and I think Varane's going to have to come in Saturday because Evans is now injured, and we don't know how long John Evans is going to be out for. So, but as soon as Varane came on, he didn't look up for it. He didn't look interactive. He didn't look up for the game. And he to be honest, he didn't look really bothered. He looked very disinterested in the game Wednesday. And I think there's an issue between the manager and the player. And I think this is why Varane didn't play against Fulham, and this is why he didn't play against Man City. I think there is an issue quite clear there with Varane and Ten Hag, and Ten Hag looks at it. He looks at the injuries Varane picks up. He looks at the illnesses Varane picks up, and he realises this centre-back, United should not have went anywhere near. And Real Madrid is still laughing all the way to the bank, by the way, because the money we paid for Varane. And I think now Ten Hag looks at it and he can't trust Varane now. And I think that conversation has probably been had. Like, he's probably told Rafael that, the amount of injuries you're picking up and the amount of illnesses you're picking up, you're hardly fit. You're hardly in this team week in, week out. I've lost for Martinez, my main centre-back, and you're hardly in the team. You're very in and out of it. And I'm having to go back to Maguire and Evans because they both keep themselves fit. And defensively, they've both been very strong for me, and you're not going to be in the team. I think Man United defensively are a lot stronger team with Varane and Martinez in it. And without both of them, we concede way too many goals. And that was the problem Wednesday. If Varane didn't want to come on and play and Johnny Evans went off, they maybe should have switched to Lindelof and Maguire instead of Maguire and Varane. But I think Varane will come back in Saturday. I think we've got no choice, because now you've lost Johnny Evans. You've only now got Varane and Lindelof. And I think anything happens to Lindelof or Varane, we have then got no other centre-back to partner Harry Maguire. Like, even Maguire shouldn't be in this team. Like, he was at fault for, two of the late goals on Wednesday, the third and the fourth goal, as well as Diego Dalot. All that back four at the moment are costing Manchester United goals, and it's costing us clean sheets. And I think Onana looks at it in goal, and he realises that back four is shit. He realises that we've got no traditional left-back. We are putting Dalot at left-back, even though he's a right-back. And we've only put Dalot back at left-back because Aaron Wan-Bissaka has come back in at right-back. So Onana ain't going to be very happy, and I'm not happy. But at the moment, I'm not the one picking the team. I'm not the manager who's got the injury problems this team's bloody got. And it is unfortunate, it is unfair, and Ten Hag is suffering. But if the back four is going to be anything, Dalot needs to be nowhere near this team again, because he was at fault for the third goal and he was at fault for the fourth goal. I'm sorry, he was at fault. And I said defensively, Diego Dalot is shit. He can't defend, he can't mark, and he can't make a defensive clearance. to prevent the goals going to the back of our net. So I think for me, Diego Dalot has to come back out. I think Wan-Bissaka deserves to be back in at left back because he actually has been very, very solid. But I think Reguilon, we brought him in from Tottenham. And yet again, Reguilon is now back on the bench again. And you think to yourself, do you know what? I don't think we know our best team. I don't think we know our best players. And I think, again, from a Man United point of view, that is very bloody concerning that we don't even know what our team is. We don't know who our best players are. And we don't know who to be starting in and out of every game. So at the moment, Manchester United are causing their own problems by not knowing their best team, by not knowing their best players and who to pick. And I think for me at the moment, Ten Hag has got to start realising very quickly that these players need to start being up for it. If we don't win this game Saturday due to those players again, I would sell the whole lot. I'm really sorry. I think this club has got to start being a bit more brutal and a bit more open and honest with these set of players that I think aren't good enough for this club. That squad is not good enough to go this whole season. And I'm going to keep stating that. This team is not good enough. If they don't beat Luton, it's a joke. It is an embarrassment, and it's going to be the biggest L this football club has ever had in history. And I think for me, United know the consequences of not winning because you're going to head into international break and these players' confidence and morale is going to be on the floor. And it wouldn't surprise me when we've got a pathetic international break again for 2 weeks. It wouldn't surprise me if some of our key players come back injured and are out of big, key, decisive games to move Man United up this league table. I think we'll beat Luton. I really think we will. They're going to stay up in the Prem, and they are not a bad team. And Rob Edwards is doing a fantastic job. And everyone that's doubted them and slated them and criticised them, saying they're crap, they're not good enough for the Premier League, they're going to get relegated, they shouldn't be in this league. I hope everyone is prepared to take a massive L, because I stated, as soon as Luton got promoted, I said Luton will stay up. And I think they will. And that point against Liverpool is very, very important for them. And it was an emphatic result. It was a great point for Luton. They were unlucky not to come away with 3 points. If they wouldn't have conceded that equaliser through Luis Diaz, Luton would have been nearly up to 15th or 14th place in this league table in the Premier League. They are not a team playing badly. They are not a team that are getting bad results. They are a team getting great results, playing good football under a good manager. I think Rob Edwards was the Watford manager at the start of last season. He got sacked by Watford and Luton brought him in. And look what he's done for Luton now. Imagine if Watford would have kept him. Watford might have got back into the Premier League. But no, look what he's done for Luton Town now. He's done a fantastic job. And I think the fans and supporters are going to be behind their players. They know that point against Liverpool has set them up toward maybe an unlikely result at Old Trafford. I expect Man United to win. I'm expecting these players to perform. And I am expecting a response. But at the moment, anything can happen with Man United this season. I've said it on many, many occasions. This isn't all sunshine and roses. This isn't Man United of the old days. This is unpredictable Manchester United. Anything can happen. We could lose this game. We might only pick up a point. If any of those two things happen, it's going to be a disaster. And more questions and answers will be wanted over the weekend by these United fans supporters. And I'm hoping these players know failure to win, the consequences are going to be severe. So I'm going to go for United win. I'm going to go 5 or 6-0. I think there are goals to be had. I think Rasmus will find the back of the net. And if we played the way we did in those first 28 minutes on Wednesday night against FC Copenhagen in the Champions League on match day 4, United will win this game. But let's see what happens. So I hope you enjoyed the preview. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button, and always remember to put that notification bell on as well. At all times receive dedicated content right throughout the rest of 2023. On United Red Devils 20, we've got more Fortnite OG coming up. We've got more Rocket League Season 12 Porsche. We've got more previews, more match reactions, more EA Sports FC24 content coming up as well for you. and much more brand stuff left in these last few weeks and in these last few months of 2023. And then please join me for the match reaction Saturday evening, which hopefully is a Man United win. Hopefully it's a comprehensive win with many goals for Manchester United. And hopefully we get back to winning ways. And hopefully it's going to be a great weekend for Man United fans and supporters across the globe. So enjoy the rest of Friday afternoon. Stay safe, be nice, and be kind to each other. You're all legends and you're all legendary. And I'll speak to you guys after the United game on Saturday. And I'll see you on the next one.